So, when I was growing up, there was a character who I deeply looked up to. This character had managed to get along with whoever he met on his journey, and cared for their problems in such a way that he took time out of his own journey to lend a helping hand to their needs. This character was always concerned with the plights of others, and would never second-guess his moral compass in intervening when villains would strike, nor sacrificing himself so others could live on. This character would show vulnerability and emotion when he felt helpless, when he didn't have his friends around, and when he genuinely felt like a failure for not being strong enough for his loved ones. A character who taught us compassion and loving kindness. This character's name was...
Sora, wake up!
And they'll keep on coming at you, as long as you continue to wield the Keyblade. But why? Why would it choose a kid like you?
Then I remembered. A true hero is measured by the strength of his heart.
A connection. Sora helped me find my way back here.
Although my heart may be weak, it's not alone. It's grown with each new experience, and it's found a home with all the friends I've made.
Alone? I'm worthless.
Sora, see? That's why it has to be you.
So, there have been many characters growing up who have impacted me in ways that kind of shaped me into who I am today and what I believe in. Rock Lee from Naruto taught me the power of perseverance and determination, which I have gushed over in a previous video essay. But Sora taught me something different. He taught me the power of compassion and kindness. And I know that on the surface, some of his kindness can come off as corny to some or even being cheesy. But behind his cheery and quote-unquote cringe demeanor lies a character who had so many more layers to his kindness than meets the eye. And in a lot of ways, Sora acted as kind of like a second brother to me growing up. Somebody who I would remember and look to as a beacon of positivity and morality, even into my adulthood. Sora has helped to shape my moral compass, and I'd like to dive into how this came to be by starting with...
Whisper runs on happy faces.
Happy?
That's one funny face.
So, throughout the series, Sora was always willing to put others' needs over his own. This is exemplified perfectly whenever he travels to a new Disney world. The primary goal to these worlds is to find the keyhole and seal the world. But somehow, due to Sora's nature, this always falls to the back burner in lieu of the immediate needs of the world's inhabitants. Yes, we do need to find the keyhole, but we also need to stop this corrupt hunter from capturing and killing the gorillas and animals in the jungle. And even worse, making me re-watch this same boss intro after dying to it multiple times as a kid.
Clayton?
Not Clayton. Not Clayton. Not Clayton!
Not just trying to stop Oogie Boogie from ruining Halloween and Christmas, but also bringing Jack back to his senses and remembering what's truly important in life after straying off his path in taking up the mantle as Santa Claus. Not simply stopping Organization 13's evil ploys, but also helping a young boy move on from loss, and standing with him by his side to face this challenge head-on against his original Baymax. Time and time again, Sora is able to compassionately connect to whoever he meets, and in such genuine and authentic ways. He never feels shoehorned or plopped into the strifes of the world he visits. He takes the time to fit in, to adapt, and make himself a part of the world and its culture. This helped me immensely in my own life in stepping into others' shoes, and I feel like this all started with Sora. He never judges these characters' mistakes or issues or flaws. He is simply there to pick them back up when they fall or go off the path of light, as shown perfectly with Riku's turn to darkness and Hercules' hubris in taking on all the monsters and problems of Olympus onto his burly shoulders. Sora never says, "I told you so." He shows up and instead says, "I'm here to help, take a rest," against the Hydra after Hercules has been beaten down physically, mentally, and emotionally. I think the most perfect example of this compassionate connection to others is actually shown in Kingdom Hearts 2 with Winnie the Pooh. Pooh forgets who Sora is after the pages from the 100 Acre Wood storybook have been ripped out from a heartless attack, and upon realizing this, Sora becomes saddened at the fact that he's been forgotten by one of his best friends. And even though you see that this has impacted him, he demonstrates this kind of angelic patience in allowing Pooh to remember what he remembers, naturally, organically. He begins to remember each of his 100 Acre Wood friends one by one, and this one scene of him remembering Rabbit and Eeyore might just perfectly encapsulate the patient kindness that Sora has within him.
Well, if I am dreaming, which I suppose I could be, I hope that I get to the part where you invite me to lunch again very soon, Rabbit.
That's right, you're always stopping by for lunch. Wait, Pooh, you called me Rabbit.
Well, of course, Rabbit.
What about Eeyore? Do you remember Eeyore too, Pooh?
Oh, hello there, Eeyore. It's ever so nice to see you today.
Thanks for noticing me, Pooh Bear.
And hello to you too, somebody I don't know.
Well, at least you remember Rabbit and Eeyore now.
And by the end of this segment, Sora doesn't get angry or fed up with Pooh, and when Pooh finally remembers him and doesn't seem to remember what has even transpired, Sora simply lets that happen. All he says is,
Me too, Pooh.
Oh, there's a bit of a rumbly in my tumbly.
All right, then let's go home.
This part always made me emotional, because having a grandmother who had gotten Alzheimer's and a dog who had gotten dementia had made me frustrated at times because of how unfair and silly in my mind it was that they could forget who I am and could act in such a way as to have no memories of our moments together. But then I somehow remembered Sora and his tender way of dealing with the situation, and I was able to understand the situation in a much more considerate and soft-hearted way. Thank you for that, Sora. I think it goes without saying that Sora was also always willing to sacrifice himself so willingly and immediately for his loved ones, and even complete strangers. This example of the former is one that probably everybody knows at this point, and that is the famous self-sacrifice for Kairi to get her heart back as Sora turns into a Heartless. The scene itself is emotional and dramatic, but what I love and remember even more is the build-up and decision itself. As Sora realizes what needs to be done, he simply walks over to the Keyblade, gives Donald and Goofy a big cheesy smile, and just... This was always compelling to me because this was one of those moments as a kid where I was able to piece together one component of what makes a true hero a hero. And that is almost this compulsive instinct to serve another being without a second thought of anything. This is reinforced in My Hero Academia when All Might tells Deku that the reason he chose him to inherit his powers was because he had the truest quality of a hero, and that being your body moving to help someone in need before your mind even has time to think about it. This occurred when he rushed to save Bakugo from the slime monster without having any powers of his own. And that's exactly the quality that Sora possesses, as exemplified by this moment. And while not an exact one-to-one comparison, this quality is shown in a more psychological way when Sora finally meets Roxas in Dream Drop Distance. Roxas had always harbored some resentment for Sora since he was essentially just a part of Sora and functioned as his nobody, being just a cog in a scheme so that Sora could exist as a full person. But when he meets Sora, he sees why Sora is the chosen one, rather than Sora seeing himself on a pedestal or seeing Roxas as simply a component of himself. He says this:
"You're me, so you can feel what I felt."
No. Roxas, you're you. We're not the same. I wanted to tell you that you deserve as much as I do to be your own person.
Sora, see? That's why it has to be you.
Sora reminds me a lot of Aang from Avatar in a lot of ways. Someone who does not fully realize the power they have, and when they do, they reject it. They don't want to have all this power or to be someone who rules over others or has others beneath them. Aang just wants to be a kid on an equal level with his peers, and Sora wants Roxas to be his own person with his own dreams, aspirations, and relationships. And when Roxas sees this in him after harboring resentment for so long, he understands that he was wrong about Sora all along. Just a perfect expression of Sora's worldview and how he sees other people in respect to the powerful position he is in, but doesn't necessarily want. A final note I want to touch on without getting too stuck on what this phrase implies and how it's used within socio-political circles is that Sora really is one of the best examples of positive, non-toxic masculinity. He's this powerful Keyblade wielder and hero of this grand story, yet a number of times we see him cry for his friends, and cry for the loss of his friends. A boy becoming a man, and in a way that goes against the idea of becoming more stoic or tougher in the traditional sense. He is vulnerable emotionally, and is almost so selfless that he becomes paralyzed in fear when his friends aren't there to help him, as he believes that most of his power doesn't come from the Keyblade or from his chosen destiny, but because of them. He states countless times over the series that he is nothing without the power of those around him, and is always giving others credit despite his innumerable individual successes and wins over the course of the series. And that's how Sora has been a moral guide for me in my life. Somebody who isn't enamored by power. Somebody who is willing on an instinctual level to sacrifice himself so that others may go on, and will run headfirst into battle so that others can go in the other direction. Somebody who, while he has his own selfish desires, puts them on the shelf until others get what they want. Somebody who isn't afraid to shed tears, and views himself as equal or even below those who are less powerful than him. With that, once again, I thank Sora for keeping me on the path of light, even when darkness shrouds my world.